All right, guys, we got a good dose of crypto news for you. Not all of it may be good, but it will be interesting. First of all, Bitcoin dumped a little bit today or retraced. Why did it retrace? Well, part of it's probably just retracing from yesterday, but part of it is because the jobs report was very strong. The economy had 9.6 million job openings as compared to the 8.8 expected. So we were 0.8 million above expectations. You're going like, well, if the economy is good, why are people buying crypto? This doesn't make any sense. You're right. According to most logic, it wouldn't make any sense. But we don't live in a very logical world right now when it comes to the economy because it's all based around interest rates right now. And basically, a good jobs report means that people are not poor enough yet. They still have money and they can still have ways to make money. And Jerome Powell does not like it when people can actually make money and have easy ways to make money. He wants those peasants poor. And because he wants the peasants poor, he is going to probably raise interest rates again because the economy just isn't pawned enough for him. He wants the business to close hirings. He wants the peasants to be poor. And if the peasants are poor, then they can't spend any money and inflation comes down. Even if they die, if you're dead, remember, you can't spend any money at all. So consumer demand will go down because you can't spend from beyond the grave. So in Jerome Powell logic, poor people, starving people equals good for the economy because he can bring down that inflation. We only have about 3 months out of the year left. We have exactly 3 months out of the year left, by the ways. And Jerome Powell is up to his old shenanigans again. Yes, he has always remained hawkish, even if he's paused raising the interest rates for right now. He needs to get that inflation down, and he's willing to go scorch earth to get that inflation down, which is why people reacted negatively to a good jobs report. Usually people will react pretty positively to a really good jobs report because that means the economy is strong, but the economy is a little too strong for Jerome Powell's liking. So he wants the peasants poor, so he's going to raise interest rates probably again in November because he has more leeway to do so. So that's that news right there. The Ardana, which is, if you don't remember, a Cardano stablecoin that launched in 2021 and that died, everyone thought they died because of the bear market. Well, it seems like that may not be the case because it seems like a lot of the money was, that's right, gambled away. And this isn't uncommon in crypto. So basically, some investors blame the loss on the crypto winter of 2022, during which many legitimate projects went bust from lack of funding and extended bear market. However, new evidence from Web3 risk management platform Zerbius suggests that there may be more to Ardana story than just fundraising issues. So here is where the sticky part is. Ardano executives likely transferred 80%, that's 4 out of every $5, of the project's funds to a personal wallet. Sneaky, huh? After first attempting to obscure the transactions by sending some through centralized exchanges. So they try to hide it, but they might be caught. And if they are caught, we send the legal ninjas after them and we take all their money. The transfers were allegedly conducted by CEO Ryan Matovo or some other C-level team member. Now, this isn't uncommon in a bear market where the CEO gets a little antsy and we're like, we don't want to lose all our money. So even if we cheat all the investors out of all their money, we want some for ourselves. Once the funds were in his wallet, the executives made a series of bad crypto investments. And that's not surprising because all crypto investments in a bear market are generally very, very bad. And of course, they lost around $4 million. And of course, that really helped Ardana collapse. So basically, like Zerbius showed the entire system and how they actually funneled money into their wallets and how they all gambled it away. It raised only about $10 million from venture capital firms, so $4 million is a very, very big hit. There's a huge trail of very questionable money transfers at the time, and things do not look good for Ardana and its execs. Hopefully they are made to pay for what they did. Of course, Zerbius co-founders Simon Peters and Noah DeTwiller told Cointelegraph they identified the Ethereum wallets Ardana Labs used to collect funds from Dana initial coin offering in November 2021. They stated that links to the address were included in the ICO platform. In addition, they claim to have identified a $1 million transaction from 3AC into this address at a time when 3AC had announced the Ardana investment. But of course, they they, of course, gambled all that money away, and now they could actually be found out and they could actually face the consequences. So another crypto scam, this time a stablecoin scam. Veracity has pumped 60%. Why? Because it finally fixed its tokenomics. By fixed, I mean they basically burned a ton of their tokens. I believe they burned like 10 billion of them. Will it stay up this high? I'm not really sure. Usually these coin burns don't actually result in long-term changes of token price. So if I actually was into Veracity right now, might just sell just for some profits, unless you bought in really high, in which case I wouldn't probably sell because I'd still be way, way down in the losses. So one of the articles says 40%. It's now risen 60% over the last 7 days. Most of it is over the last 2 or 3 days. And of course, like the lead up to the coin burn resulted in a pretty big price jump. And the coin burn itself resulted in more of a price jump for Veracity. But I don't know if it can actually sustain this price because, like I said, most times coin burns do not work out in the coin's favor, and once the hype kind of like wears off, it comes back down. So that's where Veracity is right now. And if you're wondering why Veracity's pumped 60%, that's why VRA is up so much. The SEC has asked a judge to dismiss Coinbase's dismissal. So they want the dismissal denied. Remember Coinbase about a month or two back asked the judge to actually dismiss the SEC lawsuit against them because it was ridiculous, obviously. And the SEC is basically filing saying, hey, you should deny this because they knew they were selling securities all along. But not so fast, SEC. You never really made any rules, and you let Coinbase operate for years without saying as much of a wink as anything else. And now all of a sudden, you want to actually sue them. So very, very inconsistent by the SEC. And the SEC argues in its recent filing that Coinbase offers no legal support from federal securities laws or relevant case law to support its claim. But the thing is, like, you don't really have any federal securities laws regarding crypto. And the SEC actually allowed Coinbase to operate as it was for many, many years before this. So I don't think the SEC's legal basis is very sound. And of course, them saying that Coinbase knew all along that digital assets traded on its platform would qualify as securities. No, they didn't, because they actually changed their mind multiple times about that, and they didn't really formulate that line of thought until 2022. In its defense, Coinbase referred to a recent court decision regarding Ripple. However, the SEC emphasized that this was not appropriate for this case because the judge in that case expressly refused to decide whether secondary market sales of tokens constitute investment contracts. But I think, like, with the tone of the case, basically, secondary markets are not investment contracts. They are not the ones issuing the security in the first place. And I don't think any one judge has actually said they are investment contracts. So the SEC is trying to win a big win here. Even if they don't get the dismissal, it's very likely the SEC would actually lose the lawsuit on trial. And this is why they're trying to get the Ripple case overturned. I bet if they won the Ripple case, they'd definitely be using it, but they don't want it to be used against them. And that's why they're trying so hard to get the Ripple case overturned very, very quickly, because they know it will probably influence this case. And of course, like, the thing is, like, if the crypto itself is not a security, then the secondary market sale probably won't actually be a security. If the SEC loses this lawsuit, they might as well kiss their jurisdiction over crypto goodbye. So there is also mass chaos in the United States as Kevin McCarthy was ousted as speaker. Now, McCarthy kind of did this to himself by trying to pander to MAGA more and more over the last year. It was pretty obvious that, like, they were always trying to kick him out since the beginning. I mean, it took him like 15 votes to actually get the speakership. So he should have just made a bipartisan coalition and basically regulated him to irrelevant status. Because if he actually, like, worked with the Democrats, he could have worked with the Democrats and moderate Republicans and not be held hostage by them. And he was trying to please them all. He was trying to please them, although he quit, like, trying to do that because he didn't want the country to actually shut down. But he's kind of brought this on himself. So he's out of the speaker's position. But this does not mean that he will not regain the speaker position. Remember, there is no consensus speaker of the House right now. No one can get the required amount of votes. No one's really going to vote for the MAGA candidate. McCarthy doesn't have the support because the Democrats don't trust him. And the hardliners basically just want him out. they might try to force more concessions, and there's not enough moderate Republicans to actually vote for him as Speaker. So the House of Representatives and Congress as a whole is kind of impotent for a while, and hopefully this doesn't last too long. This actually might be Matt Gaetz' new plan to actually force a shutdown in 45 days. He might try to do it because the House won't actually have a speaker and they can't really bring much to the floor. So this is a very interesting development, and I do actually think it will affect the stock market eventually and probably will affect the crypto market, although they decided to keep the government open, so that might not affect it. If they can't come up with a speaker in a couple of weeks, then we'll see some really, really big fireworks and really, really big chaos. I can't wait to see what happens because this has never, ever happened in U.S. history before, and this was completely brought on by McCarthy himself by trying to appease the far right wing of his party. Unlike Pelosi, he doesn't actually have control over the far wing of his party. They can threaten him. Pelosi was like, nah, man, I'm in charge. You guys can demand whatever you want. I'm not going to sign on with you. So McCarthy, because he's completely spineless and he has a razor-thin majority, he has basically been held hostage for the past year. The fact that he didn't shut the government down like they wanted to, they ousted him. He didn't have the trust of the Democrats because he's kind of like broken his word with them a couple of times. So they're not going to vote for him. And also, there's just no consensus candidate right now. Now, eventually they could coalesce on someone that's kind of moderate, but we'll have to see what happens because this is an exciting time and dreadful time for some. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.